So I just got out of a screening of Atomic Blonde and I actually won this t-shirt and these glasses. So let's talk about it. So Atomic Blonde is a spy movie from one of the directors of John Wick. In 1989 Berlin, a spy is killed, and this starts a chase of multiple countries' spies trying to track down a list of priceless information, all the while no one really knows who they can trust, or at least they know they can trust no one, and we're trying to figure out who is good, who is bad, and who has the list, and what secrets are they holding. All done with a lot of flair, a lot of style, great action, but a very ho-hum spy movie that is incredibly cliche. Now, I gotta say this from the get-go, my experience at the movie was kind of a mixed bag. I went to a free press screening, that's very cool. I won free stuff, very cool. There was a 2-year-old kid in my screening that was screaming and crying the entire movie, and literally my friend next to me in the middle of it goes, "Get your kid out of here!" Literally in the middle of the movie. So it was a bit of a broken experience, but overall I didn't miss any plot points along the way, but it's just to give you a idea of what my experience watching this movie was like. With all that said, let's go ahead and dive in and start talking about the good. Right off the bat, as I mentioned, this is a very stylized movie. From the look of it, the 1989 aesthetic European setting is all very cool. And the way they kind of do the titles and stuff, it's like this spray painted look that all looks very cool. It just gives a fun, quirky, unique vibe to the whole thing with the way it's handled, the way the shots are structured, the lighting spectrum and coloring spectrum of the whole film. All of it looks cool, just has a cool vibe that creates a movie you like being in this world. Likewise, the musical score is very much like the trailers for the movie. A lot of that music is in the movie. Not all of it, but a lot of those songs are in the movie. And even the way they're handled, they'll use like 2 different versions of the same song, and so that you'll hear the song played out in the traditional version of it during a fun scene, an action scene, setting up the cool side to it, but then in a more dramatic scene, they'll do kind of like a slower rendition of it and stuff. So it just makes for a neat little vibe. And it's the thing that most people will talk about with this movie is the action. It's from one of the directors of John Wick, and once again, he shows he is great with action. This time it's a little bit more handheld. There's a lot more punches, kicks going on. There is gunfighting in it, but it's not nearly as much as you saw in John Wick. And once again, just handles it so nicely. Wide takes, long takes. There's one action sequence in it that's very long. It's very reminiscent of, for example, the stairway fight or the hallway fight in Daredevil season 1 and 2. It's like that, except with guns going off, a little bit more action going on, and it feeds into then a car chase that's shown kind of from the perspective of the people. It's a unique way to do, not really a car chase, but a car action sequence. All of it handled very cool, well choreographed, nicely shot, brutal action to it. And it's not just, whereas like in John Wick is invulnerable, essentially just kind of keeps on going, can kill everybody, keeps going. This very much shows the toll that fighting people takes. And it's not just that Charlize Theron as, 120-pound woman is just beating the crap out of a bunch of guys. She'll be fighting guys, and if she takes on a guy that's 6'2", 220, and he grabs her and throws her, he can grab her and throw her, but she can't do the same to him. So if they're just doing this sort of stuff, it evens out. So she has to do locks and flips things, and she does the old keys in the hand, punch to the face stuff in a scene that's very gross and very awesome at the same time. And so it makes sense and handles a lot of the action just so well, so nicely done. That's the good. And you can say all the actors in it do a good enough job. I mean, people are talking about, Charlize Theron is so badass in this movie. I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's a very straightforward sort of role. She can handle the physicality of it. She does a great job with the physicality. As for an acting performance, everyone's doing a good enough job for the type of role they're playing. But that's kind of leading into the bad. This is about as cliche-ridden of a spy movie like this as you can get. So kind of starting off, the characters all very much spy movie type characters. You can't trust them. Everyone has secrets. It all plays out the way you're expecting. And from the get-go, this is a movie told from the standpoint of the post-movie interrogation. So it starts off and you get some setup of what's happening, and then they go into the interrogation room and she's recalling what happened over the last week. And in doing so, as soon as that happens, you go, okay, you know there's going to be the unreliable narrative element going on here. That's the idea of when a story is being told that you can't trust the person telling the story. And that's frequently tied to this type of device where the interrogation is being told. So you're waiting for certain twists to happen. You're waiting for certain reveals to happen throughout the entire movie. And as the plot plays out, you're waiting to discover who the twist is and who's the mole and who's the bad guy and whose allegiance is to who. And every single thing plays out exactly how you think it's going to play out. Everywhere where you think there's going to be a twist, there's a twist right there. Every time you're thinking, I bet this is the twist, you're probably right. And it just plays beat by beat the way this structure with the told in reverse after the interrogation, all of it plays out exactly by the numbers. And then beyond just that it's by the numbers, because you could say, taking, of course, the John Wick comparison, oh, guys, dog gets killed, and so he goes on a revenge streak, and it plays by from the numbers from them as he just goes through lines. Sure. But it was engaging and emotionally satisfying to see what happened in John Wick. Here, it's not. You're just not invested because you don't care about the characters, because you don't know who you can trust. You know you can't really trust any of them. We're following Charlize Theron's Lorraine, but we don't. It's not like we're really invested in her, that there's some emotional thing that we care about, because she, as everyone else in this, is not a trustworthy person, is not a good person. She uses people. She cares about people to some extent, but she uses them to the point that gets them sometimes killed, gets them in danger. So it's hard to really be connected to the emotional journey of anyone in this because of the nature of their characters. And that just makes for a movie where you're like, okay, that was a cool action sequence. And then we have some spy scenes where she interacts with certain people, and that sets up the next action sequence, and the next scene where she learns information from people that sets up the next action sequence. And so overall, it's a pretty mixed bag of a movie. And the problem is that it has great action, but it's not really a great action movie because there's not enough action. There's one long action sequence, but beyond that, most of them are pretty short and straight to the point, and then we kind of move on. And it's not really a good spy movie because it's just so by the numbers and so predictable and not engaging and not interesting. I mean, spy movie where they're trying to find the list and the mole. The two things, like out of the first Mission Impossible movie, that they're trying to find the mole in the list. That's what this movie is kind of essentially about. And so, unfortunately, not a great action movie, not a great spy movie. Very cool and atmosphere. You like being in the movie. You're enjoying it as it's going along, but the whole time you're thinking, you wanted it to be better. Overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 7 out of 10. You will, if you saw the trailer and you're like, I think I'd like that. You probably will kind of like it, but you'll be pretty disappointed. It's worth seeing. It's not worth rushing out to the theater. If I'm being honest, this is one you can wait to see it on video. And if you watch it on video, if you like the trailer, you'll enjoy the movie. You'll be like, that was worth it. Like for myself, I can't imagine myself going out and buying this one. I'm going to forget about this movie, and then I'm going to rewatch it in 5 years and be like, oh, that was a pretty cool movie. I know I didn't buy it, but it's a fun enough time to watch when I'm in the mood for this kind of movie. Just not one that has broken any new ground, not one that you're really going to love. And if you're not into spy movies, this isn't going to be the one that's going to win you over. Anyway, that's my take on it. How about you? Tell me what you thought about it down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear your kind of take on it. If you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews like the one you're watching right now. I also do ranking videos where I take a series or a director, put them in order, rank them, talk about it, and get some lively discussion going on with you guys, because I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about movies with you. So join me in the comment section, and thank you so much for watching.